Welcome to London Property News Bulletin. Every week, we break down the key headlines and the wider news that could influence the market, keeping you informed and confident in your decisions. Here is what you need to know this week.
This week in the mortgage market, it's been all about rate changes, regulation, and growing expectations of a base rate cut. Let's start with lenders. NatWest, Barclays, Virgin Money, and Santander have all repriced. NatWest cut rates across purchase, remortgage, and buy-to-let. Santander reduced higher loan-to-value deals for first-time buyers, in some cases by up to 0.32%. Barclays and Virgin made a mix of cuts and increases, showing just how active and competitive pricing remains right now. Nationwide and TSB also trimmed fixed rates, with Nationwide's two-year fix dipping as low as 3.54% at 60% loan-to-value. On the regulatory front, the Financial Conduct Authority's chief executive Nikhil Rathi gave a candid interview, warning that looser mortgage lending comes with trade-offs. Yes, it boosts first-time buyer numbers, but if rates rise sharply, some borrowers could face distress. It's the classic access versus risk debate. Meanwhile, broker fees are back under pressure. Cuts to product transfer payments are raising concerns about whether fee-free mortgage advice remains sustainable long-term. On the macro side, unemployment has risen to 5.2% and wage growth has softened. That's increased speculation that the Bank of England could cut base rate in March, with some analysts predicting rates could fall toward 3% by the end of the year. And finally, house prices. Rightmove reports that February asking prices were flat after a strong January surge. Stock levels are high, buyer activity steady, and two-year fixed rates have eased to around 4.28%. The message? Demand is holding up, but don't expect dramatic price growth anytime soon. Overall, the market feels competitive, cautious, and finely balanced, with everyone watching rates very closely. There are significant planning reforms on the way in England, and they could be some of the biggest changes we've seen in years. The government is consulting on updates to the National Planning Policy Framework, with the consultation closing on the 10th of March. Alongside that, the new Planning and Infrastructure Act is expected to introduce operational changes designed to speed up housing and infrastructure delivery. The goal is clear: unlock stalled sites, accelerate house building, and streamline development. Key proposals include default approval for suitable homes near railway stations, encouragement to build upwards in towns and cities, relaxed higher density rules, and streamlined energy efficiency and biodiversity requirements. There's also a move towards more top-down spatial development strategies, aimed at reducing the burden on local plan-making and fast-tracking delivery. But experts are warning that reform alone won't deliver results. Planning specialists at Pinsent Masons say local authorities must prepare now if the changes are to have immediate impact. The reforms are designed to speed things up, but without readiness at local level, the benefits could be delayed. There's also concern about how new spatial strategies will align with existing local plans as different regions move at different speeds. That could create a temporary twin-track system before things settle. In short, the reforms represent both opportunity and complexity. For regions already struggling with supply constraints and infrastructure pressure, how these policies land locally will make all the difference. The direction of travel is clear: faster delivery, higher density, and stronger central guidance, but execution will determine whether this genuinely moves the dial on housing supply. An 8-storey, 30,000 square feet Grade 2 listed mansion in St James's Square has quietly come to market for around £200 million, making it one of the most expensive homes in London. Developer Dean Mayne, founder of Henigman and CEO of Rhodium, bought the property in 2019 for £45.25 million and has since spent tens of millions over 5 years restoring and transforming it. The 1670s townhouse, remodelled by Edwin Lutyens, has been meticulously refurbished under Historic England's supervision, preserving heritage while adding ultra-prime amenities. What £200 million buys? A 3,500 square feet master suite with Hermes-style dressing room. 7 further bedroom suites. A 3,000 square feet basement spa with pool, gym, sauna and steam room. Subterranean cinema, overlooking a 10-cars garage. Private courtyard garden with high security. Secret staff corridors, back kitchens on each floor, and full-service infrastructure. Bespoke interiors by designer Martin Kemp including a 200 kilograms Venetian chandelier. The house is fully furnished and turnkey, with even the art included. Stamp duty alone could reach £38 million for a non-resident buyer. Despite talk of ultra-high net worth individuals leaving London, interest has come from the US, Middle East, and India. Agents describe it as a rare statement asset and collector's item, effectively impossible to replicate today given construction costs and planning constraints. In short, a trophy London residence blending heritage, privacy, and modern luxury at the very top of the global prime market. A new analysis argues that only 2 members of the British royal family are genuinely extremely wealthy in their own right, King Charles III and Prince William. While many assume the entire royal family is privately rich, most iconic assets including Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle and the vast Crown Estate are held in trust for the nation. They cannot be sold and do not belong personally to individual royals. The sovereign grant, currently over £130 million annually, funds official duties and palace upkeep is not private income. The real private wealth comes from 2 medieval estates. The Duchy of Lancaster, a 600-year-old private estate belonging to the monarch. Valued at around £650 million, it generates roughly £27 million a year in personal income for the king. The Duchy of Cornwall, created in 1337 to fund the heir to the throne, worth over £1 billion, it produces about £23 million a year for the Prince of Wales. These estates function as long-standing real estate portfolios, providing substantial annual income directly to the sovereign and the heir, and only to them. Other royals, including extended family members, do not receive income from these duchies and largely rely on private inheritances, careers, or allowances at the king's discretion. In short, despite the grandeur associated with the monarchy, Britain's royal wealth is structurally concentrated in 2 medieval property trusts, effectively creating a 2-person billionaire club at the very top.
That wraps this week's London Property News Bulletin. Thank you for listening. If something caught your attention or you need support navigating the impact of the news, then please reach out to us. We're here to guide you. If this was useful, do pass it on to someone who also follows the market, and don't forget to subscribe to stay one step ahead.